laugh at people that, are like, oh, I get like 3 hours or 4 hours of sleep. I'm like, that's not anything to brag about. It's a piston contest, like an ego contest. But yeah, I'm in bed 9:30. I get up at like 3:45, 4. I'm good, man. That's like a good 6 to 7. I'm feeling good. There's a lot that I get done between 4 and now. Prospecting day probably stops around 12, that area, 11, 12, depending on the day.
Yeah, what do you do beyond that?
I'll do social. I'll try to do like a half hour of like just focusing on social, half hour to an hour. Then I'll do like attraction. I have a routine with that. And then I'll look at like some market stats and stuff to see like what's going on in the market. And then I'll go take a drive around and look at some property, like just, on a specific day if I need to. Just kind of like, just kind of look at the market. But at home, that's pretty much what I'll do. I'll do like attraction and social and things like that. I have specific times for that. But like usually by like 2, my day really ends regimentedly by like 2 to 3. I'm pretty free after that. Yeah, if there's no appointments. But remember, at least once a month, I'm driving to Boston to help them out up there, which I love doing. I have my own events that I do, and things like that. So it's always there's always something going on during the day. And then we have our calls. We have group calls on Wednesdays. We have traction calls on Mondays. My calls on Thursday. So with my team, so there's always stuff going on during the day. It's just navigating time.
My struggle is feeling like I don't prospect enough.
Well, when you get on what time are you getting on the phones in the morning?
8.
Okay. When do you take a break? What time? 9:30 maybe?
Like, I'm trying to. I usually don't eat breakfast till like 10:30. So I prospect to that time. But I just, I don't know. I feel like I can never get done enough.
Is after 10:30, are you like fried and you're kind of like, I've had enough?
Not really. It's just like I'll start kind of like I'm either if I don't have like a good lead to follow up on, then I'm kind of like just looking for some off market opportunities.
Yes.
And so it just distracts me, and then or I'll end up on the phone with some type of reoccurring conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, before you know it, it's like hours go by.
Sure. How many lead sources do you call? What's your primary lead sources?
Mostly just expires. I need to expand that more.
There you go. That's the key there, my brother.
Yeah.
If you had 5 legit lead sources, expired, circle of influence, past client, probate, circle prospecting, that's 5 right there, not including for sale by owners or just listed, just sold.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you could narrow that and then take an hour or an hour and a half and call expires. If you have enough to call them for 2 hours, call them for 2 hours. And then pivot from that to circle prospect, pivot that to a just listed, just sold, pivot that to your phone, call your phone. I call my phone like once a quarter, and I have 2-3 deals in process right now because of it.
Wow.
Yeah. You never know, man. You have a relationship with them. Yeah. I was in the one lady's area. I just reached out to her. Said, hey, Perry, it's Daniel. I just wanted to reach out to you. I was actually in your area the other day, passed your house, thought about you, and wanted to just check in and see how things are going. You know what she said to me? It's so funny you called. Emma and I are going into assisted living, and we're going to be putting the house on the market. We were going to call you. When can you come over?
Yeah, I do have some people I was touching base with for Christmas anyways.
So I just think if you expanded your lead sources, you'd have plenty of time to call for 3-4 hours.
Definitely.
Make a solid 15 to 20 contacts a day. You're in the game, bro.
Yesterday I had some good contacts with expireds, but I feel like everyone I talked to didn't even know that their property was expired, and then they're like, "Oh, well, yeah, you talked to my agent," and then click or.
Yeah, it's if that ever happened to me, and they're like, I mean that's happened. I shouldn't say has that ever. It's happened where they're like, I didn't even know the property was expired. My next thing out of my is wow, I'm sorry to hear that your agent didn't let you know that your property was coming off the market. I mean, I have to imagine that that's not sitting very well with you. Is that right?
Sounds good.
I'd ask that question.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'd imagine that that's probably not sitting very well with you. That your agent didn't even let you know that your property's coming off the market. How long was it? It looks like it was listed for 6 months. Is that right? Yeah. Wow. I mean, you know, it's and in this market, Mr. Seller, it's rare for somebody to relist with the same agent after being on the market for 6 months and not being able to sell, considering how well things are going. With that said, may I make a suggestion? And you can close them, or I'd probably go first into motivation. I mean, it's a beautiful home, Mr. Seller. I mean, share with me. I'm confused. How come this property didn't sell? Like, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
There, now you're digging. And again, it's get that shovel out. Start digging for motivation. Whatever they tell you, affirm it. You know this, because you're good at affirming. Wow, I really appreciate you letting me know that. I mean, tell me about that. What's bringing you down to Frisco?
Yeah, I've got some people I need to call back today to see what happens.
Yeah, it's January 2nd. I mean, there was a ton of expireds yesterday. So
Yeah.
I don't know about your market, but yeah, today's going to be a good day to just reach out, because I mean, listen, now their property's off the market, and your winter is not my winter, so it's different. Here, it's things slow up a little bit in the winter, which is good because people wait to put their property on in the spring, which means the shrewd sellers that really are motivated and want to get the property sold, this is the time to do it.
Right.
You think you're going to get top dollar for your property when you have more competition or less?
Oh, that's a good way to put it too.
Yeah, less. Yeah, I would agree with you, Mr. Seller. So, we can, the option, the choice is yours. This property is yours. You're the boss. Whatever you decide to do, I'm going to support you. But, if you're looking to get absolute top dollar for the property, I would imagine, and it sounds like you probably would agree, getting it on the market now as opposed to in another month or two when everybody else starts to list, that would be when you can absolutely net the most. Yeah. Okay. May I make a suggestion? What's that? Close.
What's your clothes look like?
Hey, love to simply pop by, see what the home has to offer in person. While I'm there, Austin, we'll discuss two things very clearly. Number one, what happened, what we need to change, might just be some minor tweaks to get this property on the market, get bona fide qualified buyers walking through here, making offers on it. And then the second thing we'll discuss is your net bottom line, what you can realistically, Austin, expect to receive when we're at the closing table signing papers. That's an assumptive close, and it's a psychological close too. Mm-hmm. And then whether it's now or later, at least you've met with a top agent in your area. You'll have all the information you need so you can make the best decision you can for yourself and your family. Does that sound fair to you?
I noticed how you emphasize you.
You know how many U's I say in there? 7. Do you know how many I's I say in there? None. Exactly. Because it ain't about me, brother. It never was. It's about them. So that's my close.
I like that because I don't ever have that. Like my clothes is more or less just like I'd love to stop by just for a brief moment so I can share with you information to show you exactly what you can expect buyers to receive or sorry, buyers to pay for a property like yours in your area.
Yeah.
And also what you can expect to receive at the closing table when you get your home sold. How does that sound?
Yeah.
But I like adding that last piece on. So it's almost just like kind of lowers the pressure.
Mm-hmm. Well, what it does too is it really makes you human to them. Hey,
Right.
And it's almost like it's not a takeaway close, but it distances you from the result. Whether it's now or later, at least you've met with a top agent in your area, and you'll have all the information you need, so you can make the best decision you can for yourself and your family. I mean, does that sound fair? And the only logical answer to that is yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because in how you say that and how you present it to them, it's nonchalant, but at the same time, you're not tied to the result. That's my close to them. And
Is that part's not in Aaron's script, is it?
I don't think so. No, no. There's certain things that I've added and changed a little bit to his scripts to kind of make them, as I've done this over the. I mean, shoot, I've been working with him 9 years, 8, 9 years. So um, I've come into my own with what works for me, and that close works for me. It's he's got a similar version to it. Mine's a little different, but either way. I mean, he sold 2,000 homes, so it's his way works for him, and this works for me. So, but the basis, the foundation of it, is always his.
Have you heard of Josh Sayers, like AI calling that he has?
No,
You can get a list, 5,000 contacts or whatever,
yeah,
10,000 contacts, put it into the system, and AI will call like 250 at a time. I was talking to him about that yesterday. It's brilliant. I mean, he's reaching, tens of thousands of people.
he sent me an email yesterday about like I guess maybe that it was like yeah, like are you tired of chasing leads? How to use webinars to attract them? So yeah, and what's good about him is he's doing like this is like when I put out my scripts and my um, courses and stuff next month or this month actually. Um, you're just get like some of my courses will there'll be a fee for them, but me coaching, I've had I don't know 4 or 5 people ask me about it in the last 2 months if I coach in the role play group, and otherwise people reached out to me on Instagram, and it just inspired me to like what you should put out something and offer out coaching. So, but the scripts that I have I'll probably offer them. Like I give my scripts away for free. Like what I just said to you, I have it somewhere on a script. I got to find it. But I give them for free. I don't charge people for them. Josh is doing the same thing. He's got a way to um, use a to get people to a webinar via AI, and he's giving it away.
Right.
And that's what I'll talk about it at the Do More Deal Summit. Like literally every human being has a superpower. They have a niche. You just have to find it. And then when you find it, give it away. You'll figure it out.
So many deals last year or like a lot of deals last year that were so unique.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I know and have the partners to do flips, I can think back to 2 properties, at least 2 that I really liked that I sold for, a small 3% commission that I could have flipped.
Yep. Well, that's okay. I mean, the good news is look, in the next shoot, I don't know, 2 to 3 years, there's going to be a huge opportunity for that. Huge.
Yeah.
What do you think those people that took adjustable rate loans in 2020, 2021 at like 3%, 2.5%, they're going to be coming due in the next year or two. And if those, rates aren't going to 2, but they're not going to be in 3% in our lifetime. They will not. I can say that with certainty. It's just not going to happen. You may get 5 or 4, but it took 10 years. When in 2000, 2001, when those rates went down, it took 10 years after that for them to get back down to the number. So I asked homeowners, like, you're sitting here waiting for rates to go down. Are you prepared to hold your home for 10 years? What do you mean by that? Well, the last time this happened, it took 10 years for the rates to get even close to where they were. Are you prepared to hold your home for that long? What I'd say, I mean, you're going to have a good opportunity coming in the next year or two with that. But the flip side of that is somewhere inside of, like, there's a passion inside of you to do something. Like Rachel, I think Rachel's is changing other people's lives in the fitness world. Like I'd imagine that is a passion of hers.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. So she's found it. You have the same thing she does and I do, and everybody else that has figured it out does. You should figure out what it is. And it'll take time, man. But once you do,
for me, it's like, I mean, obviously, I really love real estate. I like the whole process of it.
Mhm.
But there's more to it than just that.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
that's where I feel like if I could, do more flips, just kind of like hustle the investment side, then I mean that's where I want to take it.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
didn't realize when I was younger, or just I guess I say younger, right? Period before real estate that like people talk about doing home flips. You hear about that, your whole life.
Hmm.
I didn't realize that was something that was a competitive market.
I mean, I'm in probably, I don't know, maybe one of the most competitive markets on planet Earth, which is right outside of Manhattan on the Jersey side. I mean, it's like there's tens of thousands of agents in this tiny, compact area. And with those agents come investors. There's so many investors here, it's ridiculous. So flips are not easy to come by.
Yeah.
There's a specific population here that buys them cash and overpays for them all the time. So,
Yeah.
and they buy and hold them. So yeah, I mean that's what one of the good things about Aaron years ago, I was doing that, and that was a primary source of income for me. And he just posed the question, like, what are you going to do when the market changes? Like, you need skills, brother, to be able to list property and list it regularly. And he's right. And I got out of that probably 6 years ago. Not that I don't ever do it, I just don't make it a primary source for me. Listing and selling and dealing with the public and, helping somebody buy a home for the first time or sell it so they can get to the next part of their lives. Like, that's what gets me jazzed, man. So I dig it. Yeah, but you're gonna have an opportunity for it. So, but to put a bow on this, I would say, pray about it. Put it out to your creator, man. What is my passion? Like, what gets me going and gets me up in the morning where I know that, like, I'm doing that and I'm serving it to the highest level possible. And you put your
Well, it's definitely not prospect.
I know. That's not it for a lot of people, but that's what keeps the lights on and well, what it does is it for me anyway, it raises cash so I can buy other properties and things like that. Be able to have time freedom
That's
and
the way I look at it as well.
yeah. And there's people that need help, man. These people literally need help. They were with a lousy agent, or it just didn't work out. I mean, every agent that's not me is not lousy, but there's some scenarios where agents drop the ball, and that's where we come and pick it up, and we help them run with it because the needs are still there. These sellers still have needs. They still got to move. It's like who's going to help you?
It's true.
So I don't mind it. I'm to the point now where it's just like second nature to me.
Yeah, I don't mind it either, man. Do it. It's obviously just like I'm really curious. There's agents out there, like even here in Dallas, that will do 50+ million in volume.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to know, like, I don't know how.
Well, I'd imagine they probably scaled. And if it's
They're also selling. They're also in markets that are like not easy to get into, like luxury markets selling $10 million houses, $5 million houses.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like, how did they get there?
you have to brand yourself as a luxury expert.
I'm so intrigued by that
Yeah, I mean
because I'm
you.
like, everything's possible.
Yes.
I see these 20-year-old kids building fucking houses. Like, I have a knack for, I just have a lust for experience. I would love to build homes.
Okay.
And I'm just like, I know I have the right people around to make it happen. I just want to know, I want to do it. I don't
Yeah.
know how.
How long have you been in this industry, selling real estate?
Year and a half.
Yeah. So you're oh, how do I say this? You're a youngin in it. You're still fresh and new in this industry. So this is it's a great place to be. It's like you're this mold of clay that you're gonna get mold, like you're this ball of clay, and like it's now time to like mold you. What genre do you want to be an expert in? because you're so new in it. You're still new in this. Year and a half is that's a baby in real estate. So what you can do now, look at yourself as like this ball of clay. How am I? What do I want to be molded into? A luxury expert, a flipper, a builder, a listing agent, whatever it is. You just have to, in your mind, mentally come to that place of like, yup, that's the one that I want to do. And then you, like, for me, when I want to learn something, I'll read like maniacally. Saturdays all day at the coffee shop, Sundays all day at the coffee shop, and I just sit there and read and become a student of what I want to know.
In my mind, this is what I envision. I think of how I can maximize my time and make the most money, right?
Sure.
And so,
Mm-hmm.
which having said, I think like if I'm prospecting for pretty, like if you're prospecting expires, you can only expect your listing out of that. You're not gonna get a flip or anything else.
Right.
And with that being said, I'm thinking like, what if I just like had systems in place to prospect towards more of those flip opportunities, those investment opportunities, and with did that like full time, and then only was working with the people on traditional sales that really want to work with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, pivot from flipping to building.
You would still need to prospect. So I would still take your mornings and make calls. And if you can, and look at it like each month, you want to put at least two expireds in process a month from prospecting. At least two. That's 24 listings a year just from expires. That's just expires. So let's say if you're prospecting them 2 hours a day, you'd like to get two, maybe, I mean, look, 2 to 3 would probably be realistic for you in your market. You get 2 to 3 you put into process each month just from making calls on those. And then in the afternoon or in the evenings, that's when you do your side hustle. And Saturday, Sunday is your side hustle. Is now how do I make contracting, flipping, building, whatever it is you want to do? How do I make that a reality? How do I do that? Like I did that with acting, man. This was back, years ago, but I'd go to a day job and on lunch and after I would go run to auditions and back. And then I would take acting classes at night. That was my side hustle. And I bartend on the weekends and then when I was laid off, I bartended during the week and on the weekends. Like you just make the side, like you keep doing whatever's going to pay your bills, and the side hustle, you just learn it, study it, master it. And then at some point that curve is going to swing the other way where the side hustle becomes the real hustle. That's how I did became a real estate agent full time. It was part time for me for like 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, back in 09. I was bartending, I was working in consulting with mortgages, and I was doing real estate. And then I got laid off. And the day that I got laid off, I had a closing. My biggest closing was like 1.2 million. The day that I got laid off, and I was like, all right, we're just going to make this full time.
No, wow. Yeah, it's not even a sign.
Right. And I just was like, forget it. Then I mastered that. Okay, what do I need to do? I got into coaching. I got into, learn how to prospect and talking to the public, and that's how that started. So, but the moral of this is the side hustle, which was real estate, became full time.
Right.
So, if you don't want to make, I still think prospecting is always the best way, and helping the public because it raises cash for you to be able to do what you want to do with your life, and all it takes is
how long I spent. Like I was thinking about it yesterday. I think I only closed 5 deals from prospecting last year. It's not actually. I don't like to say that. I only closed. I only got 5 deals from prospecting last year,
right.
and I closed them all too.
Okay.
And I have a sixth one right now. A guy that's under contract pending on a commercial deal that I actually met over the phone. So, 5 to 6 deals out of the,
Yeah.
20 something I did, like, it's a little frustrating.
I understand. So what's coming to mind for me is conversion rate.
Yes.
You're probably talking to a lot of people, but your conversion rate, and that's where the growth will lie. Now you're talking to a ton of people. You're going to talk to a ton of people today. How are you converting them? And that's a skill. Closing is a skill, man. It's a skill.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you don't have it. I'm saying it's a skill. And have you ever read Grant's book, Closer Survival Guide?
No, I don't believe so.
Oh, bro, it's like 100 and something closes. It's like the Bible on closes. I've read it.
Some business books that are out regarding clothing that I do want to pull out.
Yeah. So I'm just from if you're
like, man, I had 2 of those deals, man. 2 of those. I never met the seller until closing.
it's awesome.
I never saw the property.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm like, okay, I know I have those skills, but it's like some people are just different and I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
I understand. You're just There's a frustrating. You're frustrated at the amount of time you're putting into it to the amount of deals coming out of it. And what I would propose to you is conversion. If you're talking to a lot of people, I don't know how many expires are in your general area in a given day. Like today, we have a ton. You probably have a ton.
Yeah.
Converting. That's what I would focus on in 2025. Conversion rates. How do I figure out what your conversion rate was last year? How do I increase that 25%?
Okay.
And then you do that every 4 years, it doubles. So that's how I look at like business. You increase your business every 25% every year, and every 4 years your business doubles.
Okay.
Simple way to look at it. So for you, the word of the day is conversion. Are you converting? Because you should be closing well with your skill level and how many people you're talking to. Yes, you should probably be converting more. And this is good that we're having this conversation because now you can pinpoint, all right, this is what I need to do. That's all. I'm getting the opportunities. Now, what am I doing with the opportunities?
Yeah.
And that's all it is, man. It's a simple, maybe you just try that close that I just gave you. Once you build some kind of rapport with them, with an expired, and you feel like, hey, you know what? Like let's put our feet to the fire here. You know, I'm hearing a couple things very clearly. Number one, sounds like you'd still sell the property if you got the offer that you were looking for. And number two, really through no fault of your own, it sounds like you just really weren't getting the service you expected when you listed with your previous agent. Is that right? Yeah, Dan, that's right. Okay. May I make a suggestion? Yeah, close. Kind enough to be, which one kind of be, share with me. I'd love to simply pop by, see the home has to offer in person. While I'm there, we'll discuss two things very clearly. Number one, what we need to change at this time around to get bona fide qualified buyers in your property, making offers, real offers on property to get this property sold. And number two, really more importantly, is your net bottom line. Awesome, what you can realistically expect to receive when you're at the closing table signing papers. And then whether it's an hour later, hey, at least you have the top page in your area of all the information you need to make the best decision you can for yourself and your family. Does that sound fair? Under optimal conditions?
I think that last part really, really is like you're closing before the last part, but that last part really just solidifies it.
Yeah, it kind of puts a bow on it. Makes them feel good. It lets them know that you're there to really. For me, in my mind, when I said that the one day, and they were like, yeah, that sounds great, and I ended up going on the appointment. It just said to me, like, that just came out of me, and I was like, you know what, that really just lets them know that either way, whatever happens, you're going to give them everything that they need, so literally they can make the best decision, whether it's to sell it, whether it's not to sell it, whether it's with you, whether it's with somebody else. It doesn't matter. You're giving them everything they need, and that's how I felt when I said that. So you're welcome to use it, man. See what happens.
I will for sure.
Yeah. Let's get those conversion rates up, man. Where you're literally putting into process 2 deals a month from expires. There's no reason you shouldn't.
That would be ideal. There's really no reason I shouldn't.
No.
I feel like I get the most kickback is when I start to close and people start to like crumble a little bit.
You should be confident with it. That's all. If they're really motivated and you've driven and gotten the real reason why they want to sell. Well, this house is too big. It's a 5 bedroom. That's not the reason. You dig more for that. Tell me about that. What about that is bothering you? It's like I just can't clean this house. I don't need 5 bedrooms. All right. So if I'm hearing you right, Mr. Seller, simplicity of life really seems to be important to you. And they're like, "Yup, that's what it is." It's not that they can't handle. It's not that they can't handle the house. It's they want their life to be simpler. There's always an underlying reason. So the normal one that they tell you, well, I want to move to Frisco. Well, what's the reason why? Well, my relatives live there. That's not it. Keep digging. Well, what's important about getting you there near your relatives? Well, my mother's sick and or she's starting to need some more care, and that's the fucking reason. And then when you pinpoint that because you're asking them and asking these questions, why? I always preface it with, I'm not looking to be nosy here. Really just what you share with me is going to allow me to help you the best way that I can. What's driving you there? What's bringing you there? What's important about that? And then when you get that underlying reason, that's it. It's like, boom, okay. Is there any other reason why? No. Okay, great. And then you find out what happened, why the property didn't sell. They'll tell you. And then you just close it. It's like a train track. You're just on this train track. And they'll say things to derail you off the train track, but you just got to get it right back on the track.
Right.
That's it. And you've done this enough where you know what to say.
Yeah.
It's just having the confidence to say it when they say something to you, to have that filing cabinet in your head where you can go to, well, just give me a ring back in a couple weeks. You have something to say for that. Because all that is, they're just delaying making a decision that they know they need to make, but humans are just decision averse. Most of us are. We don't want to make a decision, but you need to do it.
Yeah.
You go into a store looking for jeans, you need to buy jeans, and when the saleswoman or man comes over to you and says, "Hey, can I help you?" You're like, "Nope, I'm good." Instead of, "Yeah, man, I need to find yes, I need help finding a pair of jeans." That's what we do. This is the same thing. It's human behavior. It's all we do. It's the same thing. So
you're right.
Yeah, it's just knowing humans, man. It's just knowing humans. Honestly, brother, I've just been on planet Earth a little bit longer than you. So I've
That's it. I'm gonna read more sales books this year.
Good. Do one a month, man.
I want it to be ingrained in my head.
Yes. Yes. Once you understand how we operate as people, bro, it's not rocket science.
Mm-hmm.
It really isn't. Just to understand how humans operate. What do we do at our base level? That's all it is, brother. So
I appreciate your time.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I'm gonna jump on the phone. So if you want to, pop in, those guys are probably in there now. I'll be in there in about 5 or 10 minutes. I'm gonna make some coffee, and then we're gonna hit the phones, bro.
Sounds good.
Cool.
All
right, man. You bet. What's up, Dan?
Nothing much. Just ready to get to it.
What are we gonna do today? A regular for sale by owner, and then a follow-up call. You want to do a follow-up call?
I don't even know what a follow-up would look like, so I'll just go for the regular thing, I guess.
Okay. Rock and roll. Hello.
Hi, I'm calling about the property on 1234 Main Street.